Hi guys, welcome to another tactical video. This one is this one is the third part of my How to Win at 40k series, and it's about having a good battle plan. What is a battle plan? Well, basically it's what is your goal for the mission, and that sounds like I'm talking about like the mission objectives, like the tactical objectives. That's not actually what I am talking about. I am talking about what is the goal of your army in a given battle. Now you may say, well, to kill the opposition, of course, but that's not really what I'm talking about. What I mean is, how is your army going to win? Like, what is it built for? Does it rely on like long-range anti-tank shots to deal with the tanks, and then something else to swoop in there and kill the infantry? Does it use a lot of flyers? And the idea is to win to a battle and then like dominate skies and win that way? Is it going to win through extremely tough, hardy units that are hard to kill, and you're basically just going to be impossible to shift off objectives? Is it going to win through speed and bikes and outmaneuvering your opponent? Is it going to win through close combat? Is it going to swoop through like that? That is your goal. A battle plan is basically how you enact that goal. So in other words, how will you accomplish it? Now I already mentioned like speed. Are you going to use that to do it? Because as I said in the previous video, speed gives you options, so more options allow you to enact your battle plan better. So you're going to do it that way. Are you going to do it through distraction? That works well for close combat. You basically have other units that seem important and harass the enemy, so they have to focus on them, and then the actual scary units get in and do the killing and the winning of the game. That's distraction. Whatever way you do, the key thing is that basically you have to kind of build a list around your goal. So, as I say, if you had like a close combat list, you need to make a list that allows you to accomplish that. So, how are the close combat units going to get there? When are they going to get there? You know, in what form are they going to be when they arrive, or I should say, what state? Like, are they going to take a lot of losses? For instance, orcs. Orc players tend to build around the fact that they know they're going to lose a lot of bodies on the way in, but they have so many left over that it's fine. Same with Tyranids and their swarms. Maybe they have an assault transport, maybe it's Space Marines like Black Templars, and you have a Land Raider, or maybe you're just particularly fast and you have jump units, maybe like Raven Guard or something. These are all options, you see. They would allow you to do that. Now you could have a variety of these in the same list, but the key thing is, when do you want something to happen? How is it going to happen? It's up to you to build your list so that can actually happen. Same thing if you're going with shooting, like for example, if you did go like the long range gun line, how are you going to make sure you can hit everything on the board, or at least hit enough? How are you going to position your units so they can complement each other? For instance, this is anti-tank. You'd need something anti-infantry to back it up. How are you going to compensate when your opponent can compromise your gun line? For example, they have drop pod strikes coming in, that kind of thing. Do you have some kind of counter-assault unit to stop them doing that? Some kind of close-range threat that will make them not want to do that? Perhaps you have something distracting yourself. Maybe you have your own bikes or deep striking unit, something to distract the enemy so your gun line can carry on. You see, that again is a battle plan. It's enacting what it is you want to do. What is your goal? You must build a way of making that that idea a reality. So it's pretty important to make sure that that is the way you do it. Now, having said this, I'm going to suggest, like most of the games you will play, no matter what the battle plan is, to win the games, it's basically about these guys here, the objectives. Okay, and because if you are new to this concept, or maybe you're just starting 40k or something like that, I would really recommend playing the Eternal War missions first and not the Maelstrom missions. The reason for that being, these can change on a dime, and while it's fun and adds a random element, it can sometimes be too random, and it's actually very much based on luck of the draw of the cards you get or what you roll if you're using the rulebook. And while you may have a battle plan in tow that can still let you win it, it's going to be much harder to get to grips with it. It's going to be much harder to learn the concepts you need to, especially when starting out with a new army, than if you played Eternal War missions where your goal is always set. You know what's on the table, you can plan accordingly, and your battle plan can reflect that. So I'd say at least at the start, stick to the Eternal War missions, because you'll be able to learn a lot more about it. Now I said, as I just said, the objectives are the key to winning the game. But a battle plan tends to be, you know, something that's based on combat, because you don't know what your mission's going to be. You don't know if you're going to be playing objectives. You may be playing kill points, that kind of thing. Well, maybe you do know what the mission's going to be, but you know, it's even easier. But generally speaking, your battle plan should take into account collecting objectives. There should be something in there to win the actual game. But having said that, you need to plan accordingly to stop your opponent from doing the same thing, which usually means killing units, or at least weakening units to the point where they're not a non-factor. So yeah, your battle plan needs to be all-encompassing and actually be able to handle any kind of situation. And so, generally speaking, you can build it around killing the enemy and worry about objectives as a secondary thing, but make sure you worry about the objectives at some point, because otherwise you will struggle. So, in other words, a good battle plan can win almost anything, and basically against any army. In other words, it doesn't matter what the mission is. It could be like a funky mission you get in one of the obscure data slates or codexes or something like that. If your army has a good battle plan, and a solid way of operating, it really doesn't matter what you're playing, because they will be incredibly fearsome. It doesn't matter who you're playing against, it doesn't matter what the army is, because you'll be enacting your battle plan. And that is key, and I've said it before in other videos, but basically always play on your terms. What I mean is, it doesn't matter what the opponent's got in their army. It doesn't matter how scary they are, that kind of thing. You play your battle plan. Doesn't matter. So long as you are playing to your own strengths on your terms and following your battle plan, you will have success. And that's all there is to it, really. It's basically make sure you have a strong battle plan and everything falls into place. So as I say, you can win any mission, you can win against anything. There are the odd situation I have come across where, okay, it's a little bit too powerful, but they are extreme examples. For example, the Transcendent C'tan. If you've never faced a Transcendent C'tan, you'll know, well, you won't know, but it basically breaks every rule in the game. It's just ridiculous, but, you know, even then, with a very solid battle plan and given a right bit of luck at the right time, you can still win. So, you know, but that's an extreme example, and it's really not going to happen very often. So, yeah, another thing I was going to say is that a solid battle plan, you'll notice the effect immediately, but one of the things that I find pretty entertaining about this is that you can even win when you're underpointed. And what I mean by this is, you could have like hundreds of points less than your opponent. If your battle plan is solid, you can still win these games. And I've done this a few times, especially when like preparing for tournaments and things, and I'm actually going to be doing that soon with my Sisters of Battle this year. I'm going to just gradually drop the points on the opponent, not tell them, just take less in my army here and there, and try and whittle it down as low as possible, and just see how far I can take it while still getting some wins. So that's going to be a bit of a challenge for me, but that's a bit off topic. But the point is, you can still win, and quite comfortably as well. If you follow your battle plan, you will have amazing success with this, if you can follow it. And basically, the things that I've already mentioned in the previous videos, how to win at 40k, they all facilitate this. This is the key factor. The other stuff really does matter, because it helps you do this, but this alone is the key thing here. So, yeah, basically, that's it. So, hopefully I've explained this well enough. If you ever take anything away from one of these how to win videos, I would say this is the key thing. But look at the other videos as well, and they should help you in forming a battle plan if you're not sure where to start. So yeah, that's about it. If you like this video, then remember to click like. Feel free to comment. Subscribe if you want to see more videos. I should have one more tactical video about how to win 40k, and then I'll go on to other things. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hope it was helpful.